One thing that Trump constantly says is how he needs to run, or we need to run this country like a business. If you listen to his choice of words, he'll always talk about making the deal. That's not how you make a deal. When Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, came to talk to Donald Trump in the White House, that was one of the things he said to him. You're not going to make a deal that way. You're not going to make a deal. He's always thinking from the business perspective, right? He believes that we should be running this country like a business. And that's how many top level, wealthy ass multi-million dollar businesses, billion-dollar businesses in this country are run. Just the way he is trying to run this economy into the ground. I want you to think about how, private equity firms, how businesses, companies at those high levels, companies, multi-million dollar conglomerates. I'm not talking about your mom and pop shop, okay? I'm not talking about your little local chain restaurant that's still run by the family that built it. I'm talking about these huge companies, right? These investment firms, or any company you can think of. I want you especially to think about these private equity companies and how they operate. What do? They go into a failing company. What does Trump think the United States is? A failing country. They go into a failing company. They buy up the company, right? They buy up all of the assets. And the logic being that they are there to now buy the company, take it over, and turn it around and fix it, right? That's how these private equity firms work. And so, you think that means they're going to go in there, they're going to buy the company, they're going to, get the right people in there and turn things around. No, what they really mean is they're going to go in there, they're going to slash the workforce. They're going to do a bunch of layoffs. Is this sounding familiar when it comes to how Trump is approaching the economy and approaching governing the United States? Right? These venture capitalist type people, these private equity firm type companies and private equity, they go in, they buy the company saying that they're going to go in and fix everything, make it profitable again. And what do? They slash the budget. They slash the workforce. They lay off millions. They may lay off hundreds and thousands of people, right? And then they basically plunder the company for every penny that they can get. And then they file bankruptcy. And so they're able to, and in doing that process, they are able to make their money back plus turn a freaking profit, y'all. And that's exactly how Donald Trump is approaching the economy and how he's approaching governance. He believes that the government should be run like a business, which makes no fucking sense if you really think about it, because a business is created for profit. That's the goal of a business, is to make profit, whereas the goal of the government is to serve the people. And if you're interested in only making profit, then something's got to go. And typically what's going to have to go is the service you provide to the people. Hence why Republicans are always trying to slash social budgets for social services, because they don't want to serve the people. They want to turn a profit because in their mind, they believe government should be run like a business. And so when Donald Trump is out here making these disastrous, obviously you're crashing us into a pit decisions for the economy, you have to put it into the perspective of a businessman who is running a huge multi-million dollar business, not your little mom and pop spots. We got to get real about how capitalism works in this country. We got to get real about capitalism, period. While these big time business owners, these billionaires, these multimillionaires are sitting here telling the rest of us middle class, working class people that we need to pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, that we need to work hard and save money, save, so that we can go and open up a business and we can build our business. While they're telling us to do that, they themselves are telling each other, don't ever use your own money to buy a business. Always borrow money, and instead of them, creating value, they're going in and exploiting, and they are plundering these companies, filing for bankruptcy so that they can make their money back and then turn a profit. They're gaming the system. They're gaming the system while they're simultaneously wagging their fingers at the rest of us and telling us that we don't work hard enough, that we just don't have business savvy. Meanwhile, their business savvy is, I go in, I buy a bunch of shit, and I slash the workforce, I crash the company, and then I file for bankruptcy, and I make all my money back, and then some. And that's what you see Donald Trump doing with the economy. That's what you see. That's what he's doing. His goal here is to crash the economy, because that is how they do business. He's no different than a private equity firm going in and taking over a company and slashing the budget with the company and sending these motherfuckers into a tailspin and then declaring bankruptcy and cutting their losses and then turning a profit. Because when Donald Trump crashes everything, what's going to happen? Him and his other billionaire cronies are going to come in and they're going to scoop everything up for bottom dollar prices. These disastrous decisions that Donald Trump is making with regard to the economy, they're not an accident. He's not stupid. He is following standard capitalist business protocol. Standard capitalists, the real capitalists, standard capitalist protocol. Exploit until there's nothing left, throw it away, and then get what you can get from what's left. And that's what he's doing to this country. He's squeezing us dry so he can get what he can get, because that's how business operates in this country. That's how capitalism operates. We got to get real about capitalism. It's just a hustle. The people at the top who are making money, they're not making money because they're working harder. They're making money because they're gaming the system better than you are. That's how they're making money. They're gaming the system better than you are. It's not because they're smarter than you. It's not because they're harder working. They're definitely not harder working than you. Okay? You're not going to tell me that a rich man who doesn't do anything all day except for check his stock portfolio that he inherited from his rich daddy is doing more work than a freaking house cleaner, or someone cleaning hotel rooms for a living, or someone picking up trash every day for a living. You're working in a restaurant on their feet 8 hours a day, picking things up. Come on now. But that is the narrative and the lie that they have sold us regular, degular, working class, middle class people. They have sold us this lie that the only reason why we are not as successful as they are is because we haven't worked hard enough, or we haven't been smart enough. We haven't had enough perseverance. Meanwhile, when they're all by themselves, they're telling each other their dirty little tricks. It's not hard work. They inherited shit from their families, okay? And then they use their money to make more money. And then they also use their money to go to Congress, to lobby Congress so that Congress doesn't take any more of their money than need be from taxes. Or actually, Congress takes even less money than need be. They're hustling the system. And they do it in the most egregious, like bulldozing type of ways.